Okay, so passing the high set in 2019. So how do you accomplish this? So welcome to this video. I don't know if you're new to my channel, but what I've been doing over the last several years has really been focusing on the GED exam because the high set and there's another test out there called the task. These are pretty new exams, but they're basically the same thing. So I'm going to go and write this up here. The GED, the high set, and the task. Just essentially, just to be clear about this, they're all high school equivalency exams, but the high set and the task are in certain states, and now even the GED is being phased out in certain states, but by far the GED is the most popular exam. But the high set and the task may be available if you're in a particular state. And the differences are, how much the test cost, etc. But essentially, you're testing the same material. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about how to get yourself ready to pass the HISET in 2019. So again, if you're new to my channel, you might see a lot of videos on the GED, but now I'm going to start shifting into helping those of you out there looking to pass the HISET as well. So I'll give you some specific guidance on one of my programs at the end of this video. So let's get into it. So first off, if you are looking to get your by the way, let me wish you a happy new year. I'm making this video at the beginning of January. Even if you're watching it in December 2019, Happy New Year. I don't know why we have to only say that in January. All right, let's get into it. So the HISET. Congratulations on looking to pass the HISET. It's not mandatory. You don't have to do this in your life, okay? So you're trying to better yourself. So if you're watching this video and you're interested in passing a HISET, it means that you're trying to do, bigger and better things in your life. I'm going to kind of maybe take that a step further for you, okay, and say that it's absolutely necessary that you pass the HISET, okay? Now, I said it was kind of an optional thing. Of course, you can go through life and you don't have to do anything. You can just meander around and take any job. But I'm going to implore that it is a requirement, especially where our economy is going. It's going to be more technical by far, and skills are going to be at a premium. You're going to have to, really have education and skill for the jobs of, the future, and that future is like right now as well. So to be competitive and to make the most money and to keep growing yourself, whether you want to go get a college degree or get into a particular training program, you need to get your education right, okay? So that starts with getting your high school education completed, and any one of these three exams will do that for you. So my area of specialty when it comes to not only these exams and other courses, especially more like high school, middle school, high school, even some college and adult education, is mathematics. That's my background. I'm a math teacher. So I do a lot in this area. I've done a lot in GED for the last several years. Very proud of the work that I've done. Gotten so many people to help them to pass a GED, and it's really, really caught the bug in terms of helping people, make changes in their life. So I'm like, hey, if I can help them, then it inspires me, and I just want to do more. Okay. Now, to be clear, the number one reason people don't pass these exams, whether it be the GED, HISET, or task, and we're talking about the HISET here, is math. Okay. So the number one reason people fail is because of math. And that, probably makes sense. Even if you thought, hey, I was good in math way when I was studying school, if you're not doing math for a long time, and you forget it, right? But the amount of math that is required to pass these exams is pretty considerable. It's very respectable. In other words, from a math teacher's perspective, looking at what a lot of the questions, sample questions and what they say that's going to be on the that you need to know for these exams, you need to have a super strong, mastery of Algebra 1, plus, you need to know a lot of high school geometry. And there is even some other more complex and advanced material that I've even seen on these exams. Look, you don't need to know everything to pass the HISET. Okay, you need to know a substantial amount to pass, okay? But you need to prepare for all of this stuff, okay? There's no shortcuts, okay? If you're looking for a shortcut or like a quick fix or something fast you can do, all you're looking to do is to get lucky, all right? You're just looking to get lucky, and I don't blame you. I mean, I'm probably, if you're like, hey, I just want to get this test, I move on. I need to get this for my job. I need to get this to get into this training program or whatever you want to do. I don't care about math. Listen, I get the mentality, but I'm telling you right now, that is the reason why you don't have your HISET right now. So, although statistically the number one reason people don't get their high school or fail, the thing that prevents people the most is math. And there's, of course, other areas, English or whatever the case might be. Maybe that's your area. Maybe you're great at math. But statistically speaking, most people struggle with the math section, okay? Those that don't pass. But it's not the math that's keeping you back, all right? For most people, it's their thinking. It's their thinking, all right? And I'm going to actually put another word here, okay? It's their habits, okay? Their habitual thinking. What are they doing? How are they thinking? Because it's not just about passing the HISET, okay? Once you pass the HISET, what's your next goal? So if you're going to say, here's my life, and here's my goals, right? And I'm going to do this, and let's go down here. Maybe the first big thing in 2019 is HISET. Maybe you want to get in shape. Maybe you want to start college. Okay. Every one of these things, are there any shortcuts? Are you going to get lucky and get a college degree? Are you going to just get lucky and stumble into the gym? And that doesn't work that way. What stops people? What stops people is their thinking, but really what stops people, the main thing is their habits, because your habits is this is our auto program, right? Auto programming. Have you just like went through the day and you're like, and it's nighttime and you're there with your cell phone, checking your social media, your text, your WhatsApp, your Facebook, and you're like, what did I even do today? Okay. So, well, you did something, but you were on auto programming. You're just kind of drifting through the day. Maybe you specifically, okay, but a good majority of you listen to me understand it. By the way, too, I'm not perfect. I have to really watch myself or the day can waste away. Okay. So the day, if you think about your day, all right, it's made up of what? Hours. And those hours are made up of minutes, and those minutes are made up of seconds. All right. And these time can go fast. And the older you get, time is going to go faster and faster. And you need to get control of your time and what you're doing with it. And the only way to do that is really to take a hard look at your habits. Okay. Your habits are going to affect your thinking. It's more like that old saying, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, that type of deal. I'm not sure which comes first. Is your thinking or your habits, or your habits or your thinking? But they're interconnected, okay? Your habits are going to result in your what program you're going to be running. This is the actual actions, the physical actions you're going to be taking in your life. Do you get up and make your bed? Do you study for the HISET? Do you, improve yourself by trying to read something positive? Do you waste 2 hours a day watching junk TV like Jerry Springer or stuff like that? Do you eat a ton of fast food that makes you, low energy and you can't move? Listen, I'm just breaking it down into in reality. Okay, I'm speaking to you. Well, I don't know how old you are, but I'm old enough to have a son that's in his 20s. Some of you might be my age, some of you might be younger. But let me speak to you in a sense of giving you what I've learned through life, okay, and maybe a fatherly sense of giving you that advice that parents need to give their kids, because they know that even though, hey, listen, it's tough advice to hear, but what's going to protect them. And I'm going to be doing the same thing here. If I said, hey, look, just do this thing real here, the shortcut little method, and 1, 2, 3, you'll be able to get your HISET, and then just do 60 seconds a day, you'll be able to get in shape. Listen, in my experience, and 99% of the people that I know and the people that I study are very successful. You have to work hard. You have to work hard at achieving your goals. Okay, and you're getting a HISET, or passing a HISET, getting your high school equivalency is definitely a goal worth achieving. All right. Again, it's not even an option as far as I'm concerned. You need to get that high school diploma and do great things with your life, especially if you're young. Even if you're old, doesn't make a difference. If you're still living, you need to keep, striving for your dreams, okay, and your goals. That's what keeps us alive. That's the whole deal. So let's break this down a little bit more specifically, okay, when it comes into your habits. A good thing to do, all right, is, and there's a, by the way, too, I've done another version of this video, maybe in a little bit different manner, about for the GED and the task, but I'm trying to catch your attention specifically on the HISET, and I got some specific suggestions on the HISET. I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, you want to talk about you want to look at your positive and negative habits, right? Maybe write down the things that you're doing well now. Maybe you're keeping your area clean. Maybe you wake up early. Maybe you work out. Maybe you eat well. Maybe you study a lot. Those are, write those down. Give yourself credits. That you should be like, hey, feel good about yourself. You've earned that, and you want to keep those things. Then to be honest with yourself, be like, what are some negative habits? Oh, I watch TV 4 hours a day. I'm on Facebook 2 hours a day. I eat too much junk food. I don't exercise. Whatever the case might be, these are also habits. Okay, these are taking away. So here, let's do some basic math. If I have a 2, positive 2, right, and I add it to a negative 2, a positive 2 plus a negative 2, the answer is 0. Okay. So if you got a bunch of great habits, but at the same time you have an equal amount of negative habits, you are really not getting anywhere. All right. You're at a big 0 in your life. Now, that's better than just having a bunch of negative habits, because that means you're going backwards, right? But you're not getting ahead if you have these negative habits. It's like a brake. Think of a car, and it's like trying to drive with your foot on the brake. Okay, that's what these negative habits are. So, in order to achieve your goals and really achieve them in a timely manner, you got to have to start stripping these things away, start changing them. You're not going to be perfect. No one is. Okay. But you need to give these habits, you need to make a conscious decision that you're going to try to change this behavior, right? Now, how do you start? Well, you really have to start not one day at a time. Okay. And not even 1 hour at a time. You got to start like 1 minute at a time. Like you got to start small. Okay. So if it's like what you eat, okay, for example, just be like, okay, between 9 and 10 o'clock, what am I doing? Between 10, like really take it small, build momentum. Okay. When your brain starts, reprogramming itself by, hey, look, I'm able to control myself for minutes and hours. I'm able to keep good behavior here. Eventually, you're going to get 24 hours. That's the day. And these days are going to turn into weeks, and weeks are going to turn into months. If I'm not mistaken, there's a study out there. There's been a lot of different studies on how long it takes for you to actually to create a lifelong habit. Some people used to say, well, you got to do something straight for 30 days, to do it. Then there's been more recent studies of I think 67 or 68 days. But here's the deal, okay? You could do something for 30 years. Let's say working out or eating well. You still have to practice that habit. It's like a muscle, okay? Just because you have the habit and all these positive habits, guess what? You still have to practice them on a daily basis. So these negative habits, that you have, you can slowly start, winning them away. Now, even if you have 1 or 2 of these are still kind of taking hold of you, as long as you minimize these or work on them, you're going to start having much more positive actions going on in your life. And when you're really building this up, you're like even more powerful to conquer what's ever left in the negative category. It's just the way it kind of works. Like more success you get, the more that seems to come. It's just, there is a phrase out there like the law of attraction. It's just Some of these things that just seems to work in life. When things are going bad, things go real bad, right? When it rains, it pours. So even if you start changing one or two of these habits and you're like, okay, I'm in control of myself, you're going to be like, wow, I can do this. And then you start building momentum. And that's what it's all about. Okay. Your habits, your thinking. So now let's get into the actual HISET now. Okay. Talk a little bit about that. Again, the number one reason people fail is because of math. So you don't want to be this person that goes in to the HISET and be like, oh, I just, did a little bit and I hope to get lucky. You're just gambling, all right? You're gambling, and you might get lucky. You very well might get lucky. And if you pass, it'll be because of pure luck. So if that's your attitude, then maybe you should just, stop watching this video and just go take the HISET a bunch of times. But what happens if you just take this attitude of gambling and you take the test like 8 times and you still failed? All right. What then? Are you going to like keep using that technique for your ninth time? No, you need to change. Okay. And what I'm telling you is, do the right thing. Like, do the right thing. All right. I think there was a movie in the 80s or something like that with that title, Do the Right Thing. Listen, what's the right thing? The right thing is you have to learn. You got to learn math. You got to learn these topics. You got to learn how to learn. This is the future. This is your future. Okay. A big part of where the economy is going, right? And job skills and all those things are about, things evolve quickly. All right. If you teach yourself social media and all those different things, hey, that's good. Guess what? It's going to change. Eventually, there's going to be something other than Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat. There's going to be new things out there. What do? You have to learn. So learning how to learn is probably the most important, the number one habit, skill that you need to practice in your life is learning how to learn. Well, how do you learn, right? That's really what it comes down to, right? It was like, well, I need to learn math. Well, how do you learn? Well, you need good study habits. All right. So let's write some things down here. You need not good study habits. You need great study habits. You need to have good energy. See, again, this is not done in a vacuum. Okay, you can have great study habits, but if you're very weak physically, you're tired, exhausted, it's going to be tough to have success. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your physical self. If you're eating poorly and not getting enough rest, those things work on that. I know some of you are in situations that are very difficult. You're working a lot, you're stressed out. Listen, I get it. Okay, this is a real person that's speaking to you. Trust me, I've had a great amount of stress in my life. I've been there, done that. Okay, and I was in the military for many years. I'm not going to tell you all my personal stories, but if you think that, well, yeah, this guy doesn't understand my situation, you see, again, if you're like one of those people that my life's the worst, it's unfair what's happening to me. Guess what? Everybody out there has some tough things that either they're gone through or going through or will go through. That's just kind of human life. So if your stress is affecting your energy, which it will, okay, you have to try to take care of yourself the best you can. Just do what you can, even if it's not a perfect solution. If you're working on it, it's going to give you more kind of like your more mental power to do that. So study habits, good energy, and then when it comes to math, you need to find a good program, okay, a good math program that that you can trust and you actually can learn from. So some of you are visual learners, that's why, like YouTube is great. Obviously videos out there. For many of you out there, my generation, none of this stuff existed. So it's a massive benefit for you, those of you that are probably 30 years or younger. You just don't know how lucky you are with the amount of resources are out there. And it still blows my mind that, people struggle to like pass these exams or move their life forward. So why is that when you have all this resources out there, videos, free stuff, okay? Well, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. It goes back to your thinking. See, technology is not changing you internally. You have to change you. Okay, maybe one day they'll have an app for you to just click and like it will just resolve your poor habits. Doesn't work that way. You're gonna have to pay the price for success. But that's been the case for tens of thousands of years, and going forward, that's still going to be the case because we're human beings. So you have to do that part. But in terms of how do you actually pass the high set? And I'm focusing in on math here. You need to study. Okay, specifically for the math, the high set's no joke. I mean, as I may have told you, again, I've taught middle school math, high school math, college math. I have a degree in math. I've done a ton. That's where my expertise is in. I've looked at the high set for what they're doing. I've been working with uh, the GED, that exam, for multiple years. They really want you to know a considerable amount of algebra and geometry. Remember, these are high school equivalency exams. If you think back, let me just kind of erase this here. Let's look at high school real quick, right? High school. What are the typical courses that people take in high school in terms of math courses? Well, generally speaking, and this could vary, but in ninth grade, people take like an algebra 1. That's 1 year of algebra, and that's a lot of algebra. 10th grade, people take typically 1 year, 2 semesters, 9 months, if you want to call it that long, 9 to 10 months of geometry. That's a lot of material to cover. And then 11th grade, people generally will take algebra 2. Now, of course, your experience could have been different. You might have been in like in a general math, etc. But I'm just telling you, the HISET, the TAS, the GED, they're looking for you to know a good amount of these two topics, and even a little bit of the stuff they teach in algebra 2. They're not messing around. When they changed back in 20, I believe 14, at least the GED, a lot of the success rates fell. They dropped. Now, I might differ from what the official organizations that run these exams might say, but I know empirically, dealing with actual students, I'm like, hey, the test got a lot harder. Okay, well, that means you're just going to have to learn more. But in some ways, I think it's a blessing in disguise, because the more you learn, the more math you learn, the better critical thinker you're going to be, and you're going to do better in college. And actually, the studies have shown that people have successfully passed like the HISET, TAS, GED, who've had to earn their way by really learning this material in order to pass, have done exceptionally well in college because they have the study habits. They really, invested in themselves. And so really, as you're taking a look at, what you're going to be doing this year, I'm glad that you found my video. Hopefully you're getting something out of it. I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video to my new program. Basically, I ran my courses basically just focused on the GED for the last like 5 or 6 years. Helped tons of people on there, and even people taking a HISET and task have used that program with success. But I've made, in 2018, I went to a brand new system, and I just made like what I think is really a great, fantastic course for the HISET. Okay, it's really extensive math course. Nothing that, I don't want to intimidate you by that, but really will give you what you're going to need, in terms of high school equivalency, the math you need to know. Okay, so I'm going to leave the link to that site in the description of this video, and hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel. I'm going to now, again, like I've said, I've done most of the stuff on my GED, on a GED. I do a lot of stuff on math in general, but most of it's been a GED. But I'm going to start getting into helping those that need to pass the HISET. It's going to be the same general advice, but I'm going to specifically be talking about the HISET. So anyways, I hope you consider subscribing, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you know what videos I'm doing lately, and maybe think about giving this thing a thumbs up and leave me some feedback. I try to read as many comments as I can so I can make better videos. But anyways, I want to wish you well, and thank you for spending some time with me. And again, I will leave a link in the description of this video so you can go check out my HISET Math Accelerator course. I think if you're struggling with math for the HISET, this will fix your problems. Okay, well, listen, thanks for your time, and have a great day.